Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to play Trick and Treat, another Yandere dating sim that I found on itch.io. Let's begin. What's your name? Lion, of course. What's your pronouns? She, her. This was supposed to be a nice relaxing hike in the woods. Enjoy the scenery. Have a nice little picnic with yourself by a lake. A small lake. Maybe see some cute animals, that kind of thing. A couple of hours tops. Not accidentally take a wrong turn and find yourself passing by the same mossy boulder and weirdly shaped tree 4 times, confirming the fact that you were indeed lost. Like I'm Zorro. Alright, time to call for help. With a sigh, you lean against the nearby tree and fish your phone out of your pocket to dial 911. We don't need 911. Let's go around again. Past the same boulder, the mossy boulder. Might be a different tree that we keep saying. However, instead of a familiar sight of your lock screen, the screen stays black. You frown in confusion and hold down the power button, and much to your horror, the no battery icon flashes on the screen before disappearing. You definitely charged your phone on the drive to the park, though you distinctly remember plugging in before you opened your Maps app to start your trip. Did your charging cable give out or something? You mutter a curse under your breath as you whack your brain on what to do next. Figures you didn't bother to pack a power bank for this trip either. Wandering through the forest was probably a bad idea. It was drilled into your head since you were a little kid to always stay where you were if you're lost. Nah, I was told keep going. I end up in a different place. It's like I need a GPS. You had let your friend know you're going on a hike on this hike today, so if they don't hear back from you by tomorrow, they'll most likely contact the authorities on your behalf. Still, that means being stuck in the woods overnight. This was only supposed to be a couple hours, so it's not like you packed a tent or even food for the matter. Wait, we were supposed to be for a picnic. We were supposed to be doing a picnic by the small lake, and we didn't bring food. I thought picnics involved food. All you have left in your backpack was an extra water bottle and a half-eaten granola bar. I think we'll survive with the granola bar. This is going to be a miserable night. Casting a glance at the forest around you, you try to work out what you could possibly do for shelter. Sleep under a tree. You don't have any tools, save for some personal protection items. Like shall not be named. It's not like you can pepper spray down a tree. Of course you can. You just use the bottle. The sun is already beginning to set as well, leaving you with a sense of foreboding. Being stuck out here at night was the absolute last thing you wanted. At least the weather's nice. Not too hot, not too cold. One of those really pleasant mid-summer days. Midsummer days. As if on cue, you hear a distant rumble in the sky. Rain. You're kidding me. Murphy's Law at its finest. Or maybe God just hates you. Well, the first time I hear Murphy's Law, I think Mild Murphy. Even though I technically was an adult when Mild Murphy's Law came out. So not only will you be stuck out in the forest at night, but during a storm. Almost comical how quickly things are going downhill for you. You feel future raindrops hit your skin as a brief warning before the sky begins to dump a metric ton of water down on you. Darn, darn, darn. Screw staying in one place and wait for rescue. You needed to find some place to get out of the downpour ASAP. You begin jogging in a random direction with the small hope that you magically stumble upon the trail again in your search to get out of the rain. The sun hasn't completely set yet, but may very well have with how dark the forest is thanks to the storm. You're never going to be able to find anything in these conditions. You can barely make out the underbrush and rocks on the ground below you as you run. But before you have lost all hope, however, you spot something in the distance. A soft orange glow is picking out from between the trees in front of you, and a large shape quickly comes to view as you near. A house! I'll be fine. It's a house. It's not like there's gonna be Yandere in there or anything. It's a house. An orange glow, and you saw seems to be coming from a jack-o'-lantern? It's summer. Several of them sit in the porch on the house, candles flickering inside of them, and illuminating their carved faces. A little early for Halloween, but not as weird as those people who leave Christmas lights up until July, you supposed. Still, the white pumpkins mean that someone's definitely home. Right? You breathe a brave sigh of relief and quickly make your way up the porch steps to the front door. Hopefully, whoever lived here would at least let you use their phone. You knock a few times on the wood and step back. A few moments later, the door opens. He's handsome. A young man stands in the open doorway, his bright-colored eyes giving you a quick once-over, and knowing your drenched appearance. You swear your spot an amused smirk on his face before it quickly changes into a smile. Poor thing, here, come in, before you catch a cold. Thank you. He gives you a sympathetic look and quickly ushers you inside the house before closing the door behind you and locking it. You find yourself in a cozy yet surprisingly elegant entryway. Your attention shifts back to the man as you near the sound of a lock clicking behind you. When he noticed your slightly anxious stare, he smiles apologetically once more. Sorry, it's a habit for me to keep the front door locked at night. Can't be too careful living out in the woods. Why do you live out in the woods? Okay, you're the fourth. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, fourth. Yandere. That wasn't the woods. Their woods have cabins still. I didn't mean to freak you out or anything. Wait, is this the cabin too? I'll call it a cabin. So it's a fourth in the cabin. I didn't mean to freak you out or anything. Okay, nope. Nope, that makes perfect sense. I want to be safe out here too. Sorry, just a little on edge about after the night I've had. As long as you swear you're not a serial killer. Let's go, red flags. I don't know how many endings we have, but I hope. God, as long as you're not a serial killer. This gets a sharp laugh out of the man, and he shakes his head. That much I can definitely promise. Cross my heart. I'm Trick, by the way. He flashes you a small grin, reaching out a gloved hand for you to take. I'm YN. You take his hand and accept the handshake, unable to keep The perplexed look off your face as introduction. Trick knows your expression and grins a little wider, suddenly finding it humorous. Let me take a guess. My name? I wasn't going to say anything. Trick laughs at this and shakes his head. It's not my real name, just a nickname. I had since I was little. It's stuck, so it's why I go by. You open your mouth, unsure what this you should pry further, but he suddenly claps his hands together, startling you a bit. So, your turn. How on earth did you get stuck out of the forest during a thunderstorm, huh? You grumps and shift your eyes away in shame and embarrassment. I was taking a hike on one of the trails and I got lost. I tried to find my way back to the path, but... Why did you think it was a smart idea to wander off the path to begin with? They're clearly marked, aren't they? I like adventure. It's not like I did it on purpose. It looked like there was a fork, and in the retrospect, I think the path I took was the one on just an animal trail. You mutter the last part quietly, feeling your cheeks grow warm with embarrassment at your stupidity. You glance at Trick again. After a moment, notice the pitiful expression on his face. I'll just keep wandering, like I do on Skyrim. I'll find a path eventually. It was dumb, okay, I admit that. Hindsight's 20/20 for a reason. It was a dumb, okay, I admit that. At least you can admit I wasn't going to say anything. Stupid decisions aside, things could have turned out worse for you, right? You could have been struck by lightning, died of exposure, gone mauled by a bear, fallen down a ravine. The serial killer. Or Yandere. Advance casually listing off more possible gruesome outcomes for you, us fingers, before you quickly cut him off. Okay, I get it. You don't need to remind me. Trick shrugs and gives you an easy grin. Just saying. He takes a moment to look you over again. Contemplating look crossing his features. Do you want a towel or something? You're craning a small lake on the floor. Oh, man, I was going to try to go to a small lake. Guess I'm making the small right now. You cast a quick glance down and noticed a large puddle beneath your feet, realizing just how drenched you got in the storm. You grumps and give a small embarrassed nod. That would be appreciated. Yes. Oh, you suddenly remember why you came in the house to begin with. Can I borrow your phone? Mine's dead. Trick gives you another pitiful look. We have some bad luck for the rest of the world, yeah? Lost in the woods during a storm. And a dead phone? You're a mess. It's Murphy's Law. Well, Murphy's Law. Well, in any case, I'm about to add to your bad luck. I don't have a phone. The storm knocked the power out, hence all the candles. So that's a no-go on the phone until it comes back on. It gives you a project smile, though his tone of voice suggests he really isn't that sorry about your circumstances. It's like, has he been stalking us already? As a exasperated groan escapes your lips as you rack your brain on what to do about your increasingly terrible situation. Well, I could stay here. It's not that bad. Look on the bright side. You look like a kicked puppy. Do you think I'm just going to kick you back out of the storm in the middle of the night or something? Yeah, no. Knowing what this game is, nope. See how they're dating him. You can stay here for the night. I don't mind. I have a guest bedroom you could use. I can't pose on you like that. How do I know you're not a circa or something? Hey, I crossed my heart and everything already. Didn't I? Besides, do you seriously think I'll tell you straight up if I was a serial killer? Maybe to pull us off the trail. And two, you're more than welcome to leave if you'd rather take your chances out in the woods. No one's forcing you to stay here. Also, how do I know you're not a serial killer? I'm taking just as big of a risk here as you are by letting you stay. He's he's touche. He shrugs, and it's really it a smug grin on his with a smug grin on his face. Ah, fair. Right. Fine. I'll accept the offer then. Thank you. Now that that's settled, let me go grab that towel. He turns to walk away before pausing and glancing once more at your soaked form. Actually, do you want a change of clothes? I could probably scrounge up an old t-shirt and a pair of pajama pants or something. He notices your hesitated look on as you think over his offer and smirks at you. Well, she'd prefer to stay in those and catch a cold. You sigh and push back your revelations. You were already staying the night at his house. Sure, it was awkward borrowing a stranger's clothes, but he didn't have much of a choice. No, a change of clothes sounds nice. Thank you again. Trick grins, looking pleased. Perfect. Sit tight while I go grab those. Feel free to leave your shoes up by the door. With that, he turns on his heel and ventures down the hall, disappearing into one of the rooms. Following his advice, you take off your shoes and set them by the door. It feels much better not to be squishing around in wet shoes anymore, but your socks aren't in much better condition either, so you strip them off as well. After a few minutes, you hear the sound of the door opening and spot Trick heading back towards you, carrying a bundle of clothes in his arms. You can see what looks like a simple gray t-shirt, as well as a pair of pumpkin pattern pajama pants. He knows your gaze, and the grin on his face gets bigger, as if reading your thoughts. Cute, right? I thought they suited you. You look like Halloween. You really like Halloween, huh? I saw the jack-o'-lanterns on the porch. They really are. I like them. I'm not wearing those. Okay, I'm doing that one. That's obvious. That's obvious. It's my favorite holiday. That's actually how I got my nickname. I was mischievous when I was little. Trick pushes the clothes into your arms and gestures towards one of the doors in the hallway. That's the bathroom. Go to get changed and leave your wet clothes in the hamper. I'll hang them up for you, so they'll be dry tomorrow morning. Thank you again for all this. You say softly, a little floored by how generous and comely he was being, and the complete stranger showed up on his doorstep. Trick smiles widely in response and gives you a little push towards the bathroom. You're welcome. Now go. It's physically hurting me to see you still in those wet clothes. You chuckle as tone and make your way to the bathroom, shutting and locking the door behind you. After quickly stripping out of your wet clothes, you change into the new ones that Trick provided. The shirt was a bit long on you, but I realized it fit fine, and the pumpkin pajama pants felt incredibly soft and comfortable on your cold skin. You toss your old clothes into the hamper in the corner before stepping back into the candlelit hallway once more. Trick gives you a once-over, smiling widely and approval. Adorable. Glad I picked those ones out. Feel better now? You feel your cheeks glow warm at his compliment and you nod in response. Thank you. Well, Seeing as I don't have to worry about your catching a cold anymore, how about I make you something to eat? I'm sure you appreciate something warm in your stomach. Aw, how sweet. No, seriously, you've already done so much for me, and... Alright, stomach grumbles. Yep, your words are cut off by the soft sound of your stomach growling at the mention of a hot meal. Shrek's overly smug expression returns, and he doesn't even bother to say anything this time. Dinner would be appreciated. I haven't had much since lunch. That's why I thought, how does a grilled cheese sandwich and a tomato soup sound? I'm allergic to tomato, but yes. That's perfect meal for the night like this, in my opinion. Plus, it's simple to make, and I don't want to have you wait any longer than necessary to eat. It's simple. It's simple unless you're. It's simple unless you're Peter. That sounds amazing right now. Can I at least help you cook? I feel guilty letting you do all this for me. Sorry, Ryan, but this is one person job. You can help by getting comfy at the table and being patient. He fights urge Pout and argue with him. It's clear he isn't going to budge on his stance. Shrek leads you into a cozy little kitchen and gestures to a small table near the window. Before he moves, he begins gathering ingredients to cook for you. After sitting down at the table, he noticed a fairly large bowl of Halloween candy sitting in the center. Definitely likes Halloween a little too much. Trick noticed you looking at it as he grabs a pan down from the cabinet and smiles. Help yourself. It would take me months to get through the entire bowl myself. Pretty sure it's summer, right? He's been going for it for quite a while. I assume it was for trick-or-treaters, though? I guess Howling is still a ways away. You really think I get trick-or-treaters when I live out here in the middle of the forest? Nah, it's just a huge candy holic. Anything with sugar, really. My sense of taste is pretty much non-existent. And really sweet things are about the only thing I could actually enjoy. Aw, feel sorry for him. Oh, I'm sorry. That really sucks. You say sympathetic. You can't imagine not being able to fully enjoy all your favorite foods. I mean, when I had COVID, it was the smell that went away. Trick shrugs, smiling, flashing you a smile before he lights the burn on the stove with a match, and then focus on searing the grilled cheese in the pan. No biggie, just gives me an excuse to bake all sorts of yummy treats for myself. A comfortable silence falls over the room as you rest your head on your hand while watching Trick cook. The candlelit atmosphere is relaxing, especially after a night you've had. Okay. A stove looks digital. How is he doing? Is it gas instead? Oh, probably gas. How did you get... I would not be cooking, though, when the light's gone out. A quiet glance on the window beside you shows that the storm is still raging outside. A shudder to think about what could have happened if you hadn't stumbled upon Trick's house by accident. After a little while, Trick walks over and places food in front of you, as well as a glass of water. Your mouth instantly starts watering at the sight of the perfectly toasted grilled cheese and the smell of tomato soup. This looks delicious. Thank you so much. Trick grins softly at your response as he takes a seat at the table opposite from you. You're welcome. Dig in. You eagerly lift the sandwich to your mouth and begin eating. Despite your hunger, you try not to wolf the thing down in one go and embarrass yourself in front of your host. The food tastes even better than it looks, and you instantly feel your stress melt away after just a few bites. Trick chuckles, watching you polish off the last bit of your meal, and quirks a brow. You're really boasting my ego about my cooking skills with that kind of reaction. Good, because that was delicious. You deserve a little ego boost. Quiet, you haven't eaten anything in like 6 hours? Guess you deserve a little ego boost. His teasing grin softens into a sincere smile as he gazes at you from across the table. What a sweet thing you are, thank you. Trick stands up from his seat at the table and gathers up your dishes with a smile. In any case, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Are you feeling better now? You stand up as well and stretch your arms above your head, feeling your joints crack in a satisfying manner. Much better. Thank you. Thanks again. Thank you again. Trick places the dishes in the sink before turning back to you. Don't mention it. Happy to be of service. He offers you a mock bow and snickers before straying. How about I make you some tea to help you relax for bed? It's getting late. He adds, casting a glance at the clock as well on the wall. Sure, tea sounds nice. What kind would you like? I got pumpkin spice, honey milk, and lavender. I cannot pronounce. I've never been able to pronounce it. Carmine, why? Pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice, please. Seeing all your early Halloween decorations and stuff really puts me in the mood for the season. Someone has good taste, coming right up. Chirka chuckles and quickly sets to work on making you a delicious pot of tea, and after a few minutes, passes you a teacup with a little pumpkins and candles on it. You chuckle as you take the teacup from him and admire the design. Is everything you own Halloween themed? Absolutely. Wait until you see the jack-o'-lantern shaped fireplace, or the bed in the guest room is just a coffin. All jokes aside, is it really a coffin? He plays sarcastically, smirking at you. No, but I have a small collection. I could be far worse, believe me. Yes, I could believe you. Small collection eater. Speaking of, come on. Come and tell. You can come sit in front of the fireplace while you finish your tea. He gestures for you to follow him out in the kitchen. He leads you into a spacious but cozy living room. The fireplace is blazing in the complete normal fireplace, giving the room a soft, warm glow. Trick pops himself down on an antique-looking velvet couch by the fireplace and motions for you to join him. You hesitate for a moment before sitting down on the opposite end of the couch, your gaze falling to the fireplace as you slip your tea. Trick watches you for a moment as you drink before he turns to look at the fireplace as well, a pleased look on his face. I'm really sorry you're stuck in my boring old house for the night. I like it here. If you kidnapped me, I probably went behind. All jokes aside, this is actually a lovely house. He turns to look at you again, grinning softly. But I really am happy here. I don't have company often. Not at all. I really am thankful for everything you've done for me. I'll be out there huddling pathetically under a tree and shivering from the cold if it wasn't for you. You nod your head to the window, where rain was aggressively pelting the grass. Trick shrugs, reclines back on the couch, kicking his feet up on the coffee table. Anyone else would have done the same. I couldn't leave such a cute little thing like you out in the storm like that. Ah, your cheeks flush, and your gaze falls to the fireplace once more, taking another sip of your tea. You relax fully against the cushions as you watch the fireplace crackle for a few minutes. And first, finish the rest of your tea. You glance at Trick out of the corner of your eye and see that he's staring at you with an unreadable expression on his face. He knows you looking at him and seems to snap out of his gaze, offering you a apologetic smile. Sorry, you just remind me of someone I used to know, is all. You go to reply, but instead of words, a large yawn escapes your lips and you realize just how tired you actually are. It's as if all the stress of the day caught up with you and hit you all at once. You set your empty teacup on the coffee table before you accidentally drop it as you fight to keep your eyes open. Trick knows she suddenly changed into manner and stands up, offering you a gloved hand. You look like you're about to pass out on the spot. Let me take you to bed. I'll show you to the guest room. You go to apply before you're cut off with another yawn, making Trick chuckle. Sorry, I think I'm exhausted. Exhaustion caught up with me. You take his hand and he helps pull you to your feet. You wobble for a moment before steadying. Trick puts a hand on your shoulder to keep you balanced as you shuffle down the hallway into a darkened room. He leads you over to the bed before quickly moving a light a few candles. Do you want anything before I leave you alone? I can grab you extra pillows or blankets. You shake her head, find the powerful urge to lay back and fall asleep right then and there. I'm good, thank you. Trick shakes his head fondly at your sleepy demeanor. You're adorable when you're tired. Get some rest. I'll have a big breakfast waiting for you in the morning. Sweet dreams, Pumpkin. He's already giving us nicknames. Should that be a little bit of a red flag? By the time Trick's words register in your sleepy mind, he's already shut the door and left you alone. Pumpkin, did he seriously just give you a pet name? Your face felt like it was on fire. That was something for morning Wyan to unpack. I don't think we're leaving. You were going to fall asleep in the next minute, whether you like it or not, and you are be tucked in bed, wrapped and sprawled out on top of it. The moment you got under the blankets, your head hit the pillow, and you wore out like a light. An hour or so later, the door to your room slowly opens, creaking gently on old hinges. Trick quietly steps into the room and makes his way over to you. Makes his way over to your peaceful sleeping form under the blankets. He takes a moment to observe you, his eyes lingering for a long time on your face. A soft, wistful sigh escapes him as he reaches out to gently brush his fingers over your cheek. You're everything I've been waiting for. Yep, he's gonna keep us. He murmurs under his breath as he tucks a strand of hair behind your ear. I won't miss up this time. I won't be alone again. His fingers linger on your skin for just a moment longer before he reluctantly pulls away. You stay with me forever, won't you, Pumpkin? Oh, I will say I love the fact that he has little hearts. He chuckles quietly before turning back to leave the room, closing the door behind him as you continue to slumber, completely unaware in your bed. I think I would hear him. You wake up the next morning to smell bacon drifting into the room. You felt slightly better than yesterday and realized just how much you needed to sleep. With a yawn and a big, satisfied stretch, you climb out of the bed and walk over to the vanity in the corner of the room to briefly check your appearance and fix your bedhead. After that, you left the bedroom and made your way to the kitchen, following the scent of food being cooked. You spot Trick at the stove, frying the bacon and eggs in the skillet. When he notices you in the doorway, he motions to come with you with a smile. Come in with a smile. Morning, Pumpkin. Did you sleep well? Sleep wasn't an exhaustion-induced hallucination from last night. He really did just call you that. Trick noticed the color of your cheeks, and your surprised expression making him grin. What, don't you like it? I think it fits. His orange eyes dart down to the borrowed pajama pants you're still wearing, making you even more embarrassed. Do you dislike the nickname? It's embarrassing and a little odd for someone you just met recently to give you one, but you do kind of like wearing it coming from him. You do kind of like hearing it coming from him. He's also the second Yandere you call us Pumpkin. Though there are some very dangerous thoughts to having about someone you literally just met. All jokes aside, I just love the fact that like there's like a Yandere village in the forest. That's my headcanon now. There are some very dangerous thoughts to be having about someone you literally just met. Time to put a lid on that before it gets out of hand. Trick, unknowns to your internal battle with yourself, is still staring at you, patiently waiting for a response. Isn't it a little weird to give a nickname to a stranger? It's embarrassing, honestly, but I kind of like it. I don't dislike it, I suppose. It's embarrassing, honestly, but I kind of like it. Trick's expression brightens considerably, his eyes almost sparkling with delight. Glad we're in agreement then. So you should be honored I gave you a nickname based on one of my favorite things. Pumpkins are adorable. You included, of course. Now, would you mind being a doll and help to set up the table while I'm finished cooking? Wow, you're actually letting me help this time? You reply in a sarcastic tone, eager for the conversation to change from the topic of your new nickname. Trick snorts at your reply and rolls his eyes. Anyways, plates and cups are on the cabinet above the sink, and silverware is in that drawer. He follows instructions and prepares the table for the two of you to have breakfast before sitting down and waiting for him. A minute or two later, Trick churns to begin dishing out the food. Soon enough, your plate's filled with fluffy-looking pancakes, sizzling bacon, perfectly cooked eggs. He finishes by cooking filling up your cup with the fresh orange juice. Thank you for cooking for me again. You give him a grateful smile as he takes a seat across from you at the table. Though noticing that he didn't get any food for himself, you frown in confusion. Are you not going to eat? Are you not eating? Trick looks cough for a moment. Cough guard for a moment before giving you a casual smile. I'm not really the type to eat first thing in the morning. I'll have some later. Oh, gotcha. Made sense. Sometimes you get nauseous if you eat the first thing after waking up, too. After finishing your breakfast, you lean back in a chair with a satisfied sigh. That was delicious. You're a really good cook, Trick. Aw, thanks, Pumpkin. I'm glad you enjoyed it. He smiles warmly at you, and he gets up and takes your dirty dishes to the sink. When he rejoins you on the table, his expression looks more serious. So, I don't know if you noticed it, but He gestures towards the window, and you follow his gaze to peer outside. Ah! It was still storming from the looks of it. Rain was coming down so heavily that you could barely see the tree line at the edge of the property. I have a raincoat and an umbrella you could have, but I really don't recommend trying to find the trail in that weather. You groan and drop your head onto the kitchen table. He was right. Even if it was light now, you're still just as lost as you were last night. Better stay with our Yandere. I suppose the power didn't didn't magically come back on. Trick smiles sheepishly and reaches out to flicker the light switch, and unsurprisingly, nothing happens. Sorry, I live way out in the middle of nowhere, so chances are the power company probably won't work to restore it until the storm passes. You let out another groan, your head still face down on the table. You feel Trick's hand giving you your head chill, not pat. You can just stay the night again if it comes to that. No big deal. Who knows? The power might be back on in a few hours, and you can make that phone call then. A sigh escapes your lips as you raise your head and look at him. Isn't that posing way too much? Hey, you could say, I'm keeping you here against your will, if it makes you feel better, because there's no way in heck I'm letting you leave in this weather. I don't think he probably does want to kidnap us, so his yandere instincts. I feel like I'm saying this a lot lately, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Trick. Expression brightens, and you notice that he looks a little bit too happy, almost as if he was pleased about having you stay with him. Having your stay with him is extended. Oh, he's definitely happy. He's jumping with joy inside. I could see his soul just going up and down. Excitement will like the standing place. The pleasure's all mine, believe me. Well, then, since the power's out, and we still have abundance of time in our hands, let's figure out something to do, Although, maybe I'd like to shower first. I could grab you a fresh change of clothes, too. I was trying to imply something here. Absolutely, a shower sounds perfect right now. Especially after being drenched in the rain last night. Trick smiles sympathetically. I figured I would have offered last night, but I could tell you were too stressed and exhausted. Thank you. I definitely feel like a shower would do me more good. Perfect. Let me grab your change of clothes. You watch as Trick disappears down the hall and into a room before turning your attention to the window to the storm still raging outside. Hopefully it'll clear up soon and you can finally call for help. As nice as staying with Trick, you really want to get back home. Still, things considered, you did get rather lucky. You're incredibly thankful for Trick's generosity. And some small part of your mind is especially thankful he's not bad to look at either. Fun personality too. And Yandere to boot. Before you can continue any further of the topic, you see Trick coming back down the hall carrying a fresh clothes in his arms. He flashes you an easy smile and passes them to you. I just grabbed the t-shirt and sweatpants. I figured you wanted to be comfy. Your clothes from yesterday are still a little damp. No pumpkins this time? You ask, raising an eyebrow at him after you examined the clothes in your arms. Not this time, but don't think you're getting out of the nickname that easy. You're stuck with that for life, pumpkin. Lucky me. You reply sarcastically, but flash him a small grin to show you're joking. For life, though. You most likely will never run into Trick again after you leave. Maybe if you exchange contact information, but you heard me. What, you didn't expect to see me anymore in the future after all this? I'm hurt. I thought we were really bonding here. Like, yeah, we're bonding. He takes a pout, crossing his arms. I've known you for less than 24 hours. Your point, people give their numbers out to baristas at coffee shops on a whim, don't they? I'm trying to be pushy, not trying to be pushy or anything, but I do really feel something between us already, Wyan. Even if it's not only been a short period of time. The heartfelt, sincere smile Trick gives you makes you want to agree with him on the instinct alone. You're right. There's no reason why we can't keep in contact after all this is sorted out, I guess. Return his smile with a slightly awkward one, still unsure what your current feelings for him, about your current feelings for him. Yes, he's cute, friendly, in a certain way generous. He's able to make you smile, effortlessly, but the rational part of your mind is telling you not to fall into things too easily. Trick's charismatic and charming, but almost too distant to where it feels fake, like he's trying too hard to appeal to you, and that makes you uneasy. Though at the same time, if he had any ill intentions, he had plenty of chances already to take advantage of the situation. So maybe you're just reading too much into things. We're reading right into it, but not in ill intentions like we're thinking. It's other ill intentions. Trick, unaware of your mental back and forth with yourself, smiles at you again. Ready for that shower now? Yeah, probably for the best, thank you. Trick grins and stands up from the table, offering a gloved hand to help you out of your chair. You mentally will yourself not to brush as you take it and allow him to pull you to your feet. Each word Trick can sense your internal thoughts regarding as you spot the smug look flash across his features for a moment. He lets go of your hand just a second or two shy of what would be considered too long, and motions for you to follow him into the hall. He points to the doorway that leads to the bathroom. And gives you a gentle push in that direction. Fresh towels are in the cabinet. I'll be in the living room when you're done, okay? I'll be quick. You assure him, still feeling a little awkward about borrowing his shower. The bathroom is much nicer now that you can actually see it in the daylight compared to the last night. The bathroom is elegant coffee tub that gives the otherwise modern room a cozy antique style. After locking the door, you quickly locate the towels and strip, getting right into the shower. It's like, where's the shower? I always see the bathtub. Trick, unsurprisingly, has autumn scented shower products available for use, making you roll your eyes as a session. It was kind of cute at this point, though. You wash yourself thoroughly and step out of the tub. Feeling refreshed, the stress of yesterday's predicament feels far from your mind at this point. You dry off with the towel and change into the new clothes. Trick provide, unsurprised at how well they fit you. After quickly brushing out your wet hair in the mirror, you head into the living room to join Trick. Trick smiles and gestures to the couch as you walk into the room before taking a seat in the plush cushions next to him. Feel better? You look. He pauses, trying to find the right words. Less on edge, stressed. You look better, is what I mean. I do actually feel a lot better after that, yeah. Like the situation still sucks, but I'm really grateful for everything. The meals, the bed, the shower. Thank you, Trick. You? He beams at you in response and reaches over to pat your wet hair, causing you to stiffen in the mixture of surprise and embarrassment. Of course, Pumpkin. Happy to be your knight in shining armor. So now that you're all nice and refreshed, how about a board game to pass the time? What kind of board game are we talking about? Sure, why not? You better be ready to lose then. A board game? Really? Sure, why not? There's not much we could do with the power out and the storm still going. I know it isn't the fanciest thing in the world, but I think it'd be fun to play with you. He adds with a wink. I'll grab the game. Be right back. Trick dashes off down the hallway, and you can hear his boots as he climbs the staircase to the second floor. You take a moment to look around the living room while you wait. It's a very cozy room, especially with the fireplace. Trick doesn't really have any decorations, but you do spot a few little Halloween figures on some of the shelves, making you smile and shake your head. On the side table next to the couch, however, you spot a picture frame laying face to face down. You carefully stand it up on the table, but a small gasp leaves your mouth as you take a look at the photo. The photo is a normal picture of a child holding a doll in their lap, except the child's face seems to be violently scratched out in the sharp object, leaving it completely unrecognizable. And the doll looks awfully familiar. Is it a doll the entire time? Did Trick do this? Was a photo of him when he wanted to race for some reason? Deep scratches across the photo send a chill down your spine. There's one other odd thing about the photo, however, that catches your attention. The doll in the child's lap bears a striking resemblance to its Trick. It's almost disturbing how similar they look, really. The doll has the same blonde hair, the buns for eyes are orange, and the doll even seemed to be wearing a similar outfit. Creepy. Is he a doll the entire time? Maybe this was a childhood best friend who had a falling out with, and they had matching dolls of each hair. That's the most logical conclusion. Or he had a doll based off himself too. That's the most logical conclusion. At least, still, the picture gives you the creeps. Before you could think too much about more about it, however, you hear footsteps coming down the stairs. Trick is coming down back with the board game. Quickly, you flip the photo frame back in its face down position on the side table, and place your hand in your lap. You flash Trick a smile that you hope looks casual as he walks back into the room, carrying a box in his hands. Trick looks at you with an unreadable expression for the moment, almost like he was studying your face. After a moment, though, he returns your smile and sets the box down on the coffee table. Sorry that took me a bit. I had to dig around the attic for this thing. No worries. I was just admiring the decor while I waited. The room is really cozy. And I like the little Halloween pieces you have sprinkled in. You smile at him again, Suddenly relieved you didn't get caught seeing the photo you clearly weren't supposed to. Oh, thanks, Pumpkin. I can't take too much credit though. I sort of inherited this house from an old friend of mine. He pauses for a moment, and you swear you can see his expression darken. A second later, though, his sunny smile is back. Her parents did most of the decorating. I just threw in a few pieces here and there. Your jaws drop a little at the casual revelation. They just gave you the entire house. It was kind of a special circumstances. They wanted to move out in a hurry, so they left the house to me. I used to be a very close friend of the family. He explains, propping one of his boots on the coffee table. You begin to get the sense that Trick doesn't really want to get into topic, but can't resist asking about it regardless. Used to be. Did you have a falling out or something? Your mind immediately drifts to the photo you saw as you try to piece things together in your mind. Trick's expression sours again. He begins drumming his gloved fingers on the arm of the couch. Something like that. He replies bitterly, his orange eyes now firmly trained on the wall. His mouth is set in the hard line, and it's clear he's not very eager to continue the conversation. Not wanting to pry any further, you click to change topics by reaching out and lifting the lid off the board game's box. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? You reply trying to sound peppy, but it really just comes off as awkward. Trick continues to stare at the wall for a few moments before sighing. Right. You and Trick begin playing the board game, but you could tell that his heart really is in it. The falling out with his friend must have really weighed on him, even to this day. By the second round, though, he seems closer to his normal self, even cracking a few jokes here and there. An hour or so goes by, and Trick begins An hour or so goes by, and Trick begins cleaning up the board game and packing it back into its box. Well, I know it wasn't the most entertaining thing, but I hope you had a little fun, Pumpkin. I did. Actually, I can't even remember the last time I played a board game. A solemn rumble of thunder suddenly shakes the house, making you realize that you probably won't be leaving anytime soon still. What storm lasts 2 days? Trick grimaces and shrugs. It's like, in some places it does. Multiple. Glancing out of the window at the heavy rain still coming down. Did you not check the weather before you went out on your little hike yesterday? You'd think there would have been a warning or something. It was sunny and gorgeous outside, so I kind of assumed. Trick gives you a pitiful look. Well, stupid decisions aside, at least you're not stuck in that. The storm can only last so long. The power will be back on before you know it. You roll your eyes, find the urge to pout as he basically calls you stupid. Aw, don't look at me like that. I will. I have another idea for something we could do to pass the time. Want to help me bake a pie? How are you gonna do that with the power out? Stove? As gas or something? Thankfully, Trick was able to light the stove burners with a match, but the same couldn't be said for the oven. True, that's why we're gonna use that. He points to the far corner of the living room. He spotted an old wood burning stove. You want to attempt to bake a pie over an actual fire? Pumpkin, please. That's how things used to be done before gas and electric ovens were invented, right? Yeah, and that's. Watch us gonna do it. The second one, I think, has a wood burning stove. This wood burning tastes better, apparently. Besides, I sing it. Besides, I've seen it used to bake before. If you're sure, what kind of top pie do you want to bake? Apple, blueberry? He gives you a glance, a smirk growing on his face. Pumpkin. It's like, of course you want to make a pumpkin pie. There's no way you could stop the blush from rising on your cheeks from a comment like that. Trick just grins wider and nods to himself. Yep, that's the flavor I want to make. For sure, a nice, delicious pumpkin pie. Let's choose apple pie. Trick, please stop. You're killing me. Shut up, you know exactly what you're doing. Throw a pillow at him. Trick, please stop, you're killing me. Your face feels like it's on fire, and you can't even look at him at this point. Sorry. Your pie is not sounding at all apologetic. I couldn't resist. It really is my favorite pie flavor, if it makes you feel any better. I figured. Now come to the kitchen with me and let's get started. It's kind of my least favorite. And an ex a sigh escapes your lips, but you follow after him anyways. I do eat it during some of the holidays, but that's it. He instructs you where to find the necessary ingredients while he begins grabbing cooking utensils. Trick begins mixing together the pie dough. For it doesn't have. Oh, so he's actually making wholly all handmade. Actually, it tastes better. Trick begins mixing together the pie dough while you work on making the filling. Similar to last night, you feel his eyes on you as you mix and glance over at him. Trick is staring eternally at you, simply mapping out the details on your face and appearance. You seriously got to stop the staring thing. It's creeping me out. He chuckles, clearly not worried about the fact that he's unsettling you. I know, sorry. You said I looked like someone you used to know. You briefly wonder if it's the same person from the picture, Trick's old friend. The image in your head of the scratched out face makes you momentarily pause in mixing the pie filling. Trick sighs heavily at your question. You do, to a alarming extent, really. I'm gonna take a guess and say he was the doll. He's actually been the doll, and maybe that person is a relative. I know you're not her, obviously, but it's difficult seeing someone that looks so familiar. That's all. You hum in spots, not really knowing what to say to him. Trick also goes quiet, once again concentrating on making the pie dough. He speaks up again after a minute or so, though. So, tell me about yourself. We haven't really talked much about you since you got here. The question catches you off guard. You're really not sure where to begin. However, after some thought, you fall into rambling about the random aspects of your life and hobbies. Trick listens intently as the two of you work to assemble the pie, chiming in here and there and making comments. The conversation actually ends up being very pleasant, and you find that Trick and you could have quite a few things in common. And you find that Trick and you have quite a few things in common. By the time you got out of the topics to talk about, the pie is ready to be baked, and you follow Trick back to the living room and watch as he carefully places the pie into the wood-burning stove. You take a seat back on the couch to wait as the pie cooks and turn to look at Trick. Your turn. I rambled on about myself. It's only fair you do the same. Trick pops down next to you on the couch and sighs. I really don't like talking about myself, but I guess I can for you, Pumpkin. He kicks his boots up onto the coffee table and reclines back before he begins speaking. My memories of when I was little are fuzzy. It's hard for me to recall any specific details before a certain point in my life. Though I do remember my best friend, Chloe, the one you remind me of. We spent literally every day together for years. We played all the same games, watched the same movies, had sleepovers. He trails off, his voice sounding fond and nostalgic. She's the reason I love Halloween so much. It was her favorite holiday ever since she was little, and it rubbed off on me, I guess. But eventually, we grew apart. We didn't talk for years. I tried to reconnect, but it didn't exactly go well. I haven't seen her since. He continues, his voice taking on the same bitter tone from earlier. I guess take a guess that he's actually the doll. It's like Toy Story, but he became a real boy, like Pinocchio. So I've just been trying to live my own life since then, but all I could find is a void, like a chunk of me was ripped out. I imagine abandoning your best friend ever since childhood. We were together for over a decade. He suddenly grew out, his fingers gripping the arm of the couch in anger. He sighs again after a moment, and his grip relaxes. I'm sorry. It's not a subject I truly talking about. My life isn't all that interesting. No, it's just... You trail off, trying to find the right words to say to him. What a crappy situation. How do you even comfort someone about something like that? I'm sorry you went for that. Your friend was in the wrong. He frowned, reaching over to gently lay your hand on his shoulder. Truck smiles at the contact, and reaches out to ruffle your hair in return. Thanks, Pumpkin. I know it sucks, but sometimes friends drift apart as they get older. Trick stiffens up at your words, his fingers gripping the couch cushion again, and you realize that might have been the wrong thing to say. It wasn't drifting apart, she abandoned me. Trick lets out a breath and turns back to you again, his expression hard. Let's put this into perspective. Do you have a favorite toy growing up? I did, yeah. You reply with a glance, already having a feeling you know where he's going with this. And would you just one day decide you're too old for that toy and toss it aside to collect dust? Forget all the fond memories with it? I think my mom took that toy and put it in, donated it, so yes or no? I had no choice. Your thought drifts to your favorite childhood toy, sitting on the shelf above your bed. Even though you don't play with it anymore, it does hold a special place in your heart, no matter how old you get. I get your point, but people aren't toys. People grow and change, and sometimes they're not as compatible as they used to be. You say gently, not wanting to upset Trick anymore, as he already is, but being so attached to a childhood best friend isn't exactly healthy. He's a doll, though. You don't get it. Oh, I get it perfectly well. He's the doll. He snaps suddenly, his orange eyes narrowing at you in bitter rage. You don't understand how close we were. He says in quieter, more sober tone. He turns his gaze from you back to the floor. You're quiet for a bit as you sit there thinking. You regret putting your nose where it doesn't belong in terms of his past relationships. That's a job for a therapist, not some random person he met yesterday. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have pushed. It wasn't my place. You finally say in a soft tone as you shift a little closer to him on the couch. Trick doesn't reply verbally. Instead, he suddenly moves to put you into a tight hug. A surprise noise escaped you, and you suddenly crush against his body. But after a moment, you loosely wrap your arm around him in return and pat his back. Trick squeezes you briefly before letting go and shifting back into his original spot on the couch. It's fine, it's fine. Sorry for pouncing on you like that, pumpkin. I'm not usually so emotional. He tries to give you one of his normal grins, but ends up looking strained. Don't worry about it, I'm sorry too. No reason to be. Now, let's go check on the pie real quick. He stands up in the couch and kneels down on the floor to check how the pie is cooking inside the wood-burning stove. Maybe a few more minutes, it'll be done. The edges need to brown a little more. Trick returns to the spot next to you on the couch, reclining back once more, and flashing you a smile. You smile back and try to move on from the tense conversation you just had. So, do you keep piling decorations up all year long, or did you just start decorating early? Trick snorts and gives you a quick glance at some of the small decorations in the room. All year round, too lazy to take them down. It's all small stuff anyways, so I don't see the harm. You chuckle a little as well. Trick really is like those people that leave their Christmas lights up until July. You know, he's like the person that would leave the Christmas lights up all year round. So hey, he starts following your he starts his eyes following yours as he shifts to face you on the couch. I know your situation is a deal, but I hope you enjoy yourself here with me, at least a little bit. You've been a great host. Trick grins softly and reaches out to gently bop your nose. Thanks, Pumpkin. I'm glad I'm doing a good job. Trick turns back towards the stove again and gets to his feet. Alright, pie should be just about done. He kneels down and puts on oven mitts before retrieving the pie from the stove. You follow along behind him as he motions for you to come into the kitchen to serve it. Now from his cabinets, you grab 2 plates down as well as forks from the drawer before you taking your seat at the table. Look at you making yourself at home. This feels awfully domestic. He teases, cutting into the pie and placing one slice on your plate before serving himself one as well. Technically, we should let this set for a few hours before eating it, but I'm way too impatient for that. He smirks as he sits down at the table across from you and picks up his fork. Well, it's gonna burn our mouths though. It'll still taste the same. The consistency will just be a little different. You shrug, lifting a piece of your pie in your lips before wincing at it as it touches your mouth. Too hot. To your surprise, however, you see Trick take a bite without even flinching, and your jaw drops slightly as you stare at him in concern. I'm telling you, he's a doll. He is the doll. How is your tongue not experiencing third-degree burns? The pie's way too hot to eat. Trick blinks at you for a moment, looking bewildered, before a look of realization crosses his features. Oh, my nerves in my mouth are dulled. Remember how my sense of taste isn't great? It's delayed. He replies, chuckling awkwardly. That's not it. I think you're a doll. Oh, gotcha. Still, even if you don't feel it, you could still burn your mouth, so be careful in the future. You scold him. He suddenly rolls his eyes in return. Trick makes a show of blowing on the next forkful of pie before he eats it. We already know you're more than the meat's eye. You take a bite as well, and sigh happily at the taste. Yeah, it's a little weird eating it hot, but it still tastes divine. Trick smiles at you as he watches you all but devour your slice of the pie. I take you like it then? You grin sheepishly at your own behavior and make an effort to eat the last few bites at a slower pace. It's amazing. Thank you for picking it and sharing it with me. You helped, silly. Though eating sugar this way is gonna ruin your appetite for dinner. Now we're adults. We eat dessert and then maybe not even eat dinner. I figured out I would just make a simple stew or something, if that's alright with you. Stew sounds good. What's easier than throwing a whole bunch of ingredients in a big pot and eating it over the stove? Perfect. I'll prep here a little bit and have the stew ready for later. Trick stands up from the table and collects the dishes before beginning to wash them in the sink. Not wanting to stand around without helping, you move up beside him and work to dry the dishes and put them back into their places. You're such a little sweetheart, Pumpkin. Couldn't resist helping, huh? You cooked me food, kept me entertained, even and gave me shelter when I really needed it. I'm not just gonna smooch off you without giving back where I can. Keep it up, and I'll be forced to keep you here forever. You've been such a good company. I'll be sad to see you go tomorrow. Oh, I thought your plan was to keep us forever anyway. I can always come back and visit, you know. Don't be so dramatic. You snort and roll your eyes at him. You expect a snarky reply in return, but when you glance at Trick again, he's staring at you with an almost stunned look on his face. You would come back and visit me? Yes. He asked softly, his voice barely audible, over the running water in the sink. Before he could reply, however, Trick's expression returns to his usual smug grin. I'm honored, Pumpkin. You're welcome here any time. He ignored his smug act and flash him a sincere smile in return. It was clear that he was willing to come back and see him meant a lot to him, even if he tried to mask it. The two of you successfully clean up all the dishes. Trick looks at you with a grin. Now let's figure out how to kill a few hours until dinner time, shall we? You and Trick managed to find a lot of things to do, given the lack of power and the ability to go outside the house, cards, board games, sharing stories. Heck, he even busted out coloring books and crayons towards the end. Halloween themed, of course. Of course it would be Halloween themed. He's a little obsessed with Halloween. It might be a little obsessed with us eventually, to keep us. By the time the sun was beginning to set outside, you were busy helping Trick set the table for dinner while he was putting the finishing touches on the stew. Plot twist on one is the power's not actually out. It's an abandoned house and he's an abandoned toy. That became a real boy. By the time the sun began to set outside, you were busy helping Trick set the table for dinner while he was putting the finishing touches on the stew. I know I read it again. It smells so delicious that despite having a slice of pie earlier, your stomach is already growling at the thought of eating. Growling at stopping. As Trick dishes out your portion of the stew, however, you noticed that once again he didn't dish out any for himself. The bowl you set out for him remains empty. Are you not eating? Telling you, he doesn't need to eat. He ate pie because he likes pie. You question him, confused and concerned, evident in your tone. Trick gives you the same look on his face they saw him make at breakfast. He looks caught off guard, like he hasn't expected you to question it. It takes him a moment to reply, simply trying to figure out what he wants to say. I'm also not that hungry. The pie filled me up. I'll eat later. He smiles at you, though knowing him a bit better now, you can just you can see just how fake it looks by comparison. Seriously, you skipped breakfast too, though. Since you had been with him nearly the entire day, you also pretty positive that that slice of pie was all he had eaten. Maybe he has a health issue, or maybe an issue with food, for the matter, so he decided not to press it further. Trick waves off your concern and smiles again. I'm fine, Pumpkin, I promise. I don't really eat a lot in general. You frowned at him in concern for a moment longer before sighing in registration. Sighing. Fine, but but don't regret your health or anything. Trick grins smugly at you, crossing his arms across his chest as he leans against the kitchen counter. Are you worried about me? How sweet. I'll see. It's a completely normal reaction. Ball your neck and throw at him. Obviously, it's a completely normal reaction. But clearly, how dare I be concerned over your health? You roll your eyes at him, shooting him an unamused look. You turn your attention back at the fresh stew in front of you, steam gently rising from the bowl. Trick was very considerate of your personal preference, as well as your any allergies or dietary restrictions when preparing it. Pretty sure I'm eating my allergy. It's stew after all, so tomatoes are probably in it. Trick takes the seat across from you at the table and smiles at you briefly, as he briefly watches you enjoy the first few spoonfuls of the meal. Though I could still eat it, it's just I have an asthma attack every single time I eat it. Do I get 5 stars? Definitely. You're a really good cook. You smile gratefully back at him. Thank you. He chuckles for a moment before standing up from the table. Mind if I go grab a quick shower while you're eating? It's gonna be a bedtime before we know it. No! I'll be right back. He gives you a pat on the head as he walks by you towards the entryway of the kitchen before turning back to glance at you. When you're done, just leave your bowl by the sink. I'll do the dishes later. No, if I'm done, do them first. All right, thank you. Trick grins in approval of your response. That's a good little house guess. Finally got through to you, it seems. Always keeps insisting. All right, I'll leave you to your meal. I'm going to go shower. Trick gives you a little wave with his fingers as he heads out of the kitchen. You can hear a soft thud of his boots as he walks down the hall to the bathroom. After enjoying the rest of your stew, you gather up your dishes and set them next to the sink, as promised. Trick wasn't done with his shower yet, so you decide to wander into the living room to relax while you wait for him. As you walk in, your eyes naturally find the photo you saw earlier, still face down on the table. A small part of you wanted to do a little more digging into the situation. Trick talked about his childhood friend abandoning him. He made it sound like he inherited the house from her. It didn't make a lot of sense to you just hearing his side, plus you wanted more details. It was hard not to be morbidly curious about the topic. You doubt you ever be able to get Trick to talk about it willingly. In any case, you lean into the hallway to make sure he can still hear the water running from the Trick shower before you quickly move to take another look at the photo. A grunt forms on your face as you see the brutal scratches across the child's face again. Trick seems to be charming and charismatic, yet seeing this makes you consider him in a darker light. I still think he's the doll. Your eyes studied the doll, held in the child's hands again as well. It was literally identical to Trick, down to every last detail. It was even wearing tiny black gloves. How did that make any sense? He had assumed that he and his friend were matching dolls for each other, yet the doll in the photo matched Trick, as he currently was, not as a child himself. You can't really think of any explanation for it. Pinocchio, so I think I made made an explanation. Pinocchio. He became a real boy. Why would a doll from years ago look like him now? Trick didn't mention that his friendship ended a long time ago, so it isn't like this was a recent affair either. Before you could think about it, you hear the sound of the bathroom door opening. Quickly, you place the photo frame face down on the table again, moving into what you hope looks like a relaxed, casual position on the couch. Trick walks in a moment later, towel drying his hair, blonde hair, as a few droplets splash around his shoulders. He's still wearing his gloves and boots despite just getting out of the shower. In fact, you never seen him take them off. You'd think he wanted to be comfortable in his own house. Honestly, the more about Trick past his surface level, the stranger he got. Trick knows you looking him over and flashes you a smug look. What? Do you like the view or something? You're staring an awful lot, pumpkin. Normally, 40 line like that from Trick would cause your cheeks to at least turn the tiniest bit pink, but you're too thrown out off at the moment to respond properly. So instead, you give him what you hope is a project smile. Sorry, I was just zoning out. Didn't mean to stare. Trick studies you carefully for a few moments, and you swear you see his eyes glimpse at the photo on the table for a brief second. We didn't put it back exactly where it was. But then he shrugs and looks back at the towel. Goes back to toweling his office damp air. I'm gonna make another pot of tea. By the way, it's a good way to wind down for bed. What flavor? Same flavor as last time? Yeah, that sounds nice right now. Thank you. You think a cup of hot tea might be just what your frazzled mind needs to calm down. I'll go get that started. Relax, by the way. You look like you just saw a ghost or something. Did that last boom of thunder scare you? He teases lightheartedly as he noticed your posture wasn't as casual as you hoped it was after seeing the photo again. Very funny. It shook the whole house. Of course I jumped a little. He replied back, using his provided excuse for you. Trick gives you one final smirk before turning towards the kitchen to personally make the pot of tea for you. Speaking of storms, you give a quick look at the window to see rain still pelting harshly against the glass and the occasional flash of lightning. You want to get back home. We're not going back home. It definitely hasn't been a terrible stay here with Trick. You're grateful for his hospitality, insistent, but it has been nearly 2 full days now. I think it's been 2 full days. Well, technically 1 whole 24 hours. Your mind drift to your kitchen, to your friend that would let you know. Your mind drifted to your friend that you let know about your hiking trip, wondering if they called the police about your absence yet. A sigh escapes you. This was turning into a mess. You were grateful you still had a large handful of vacation days left from work, so at the very least, you wouldn't have to worry about losing your job. Things could have turned out worse. You could still be lost out in the woods, probably near death from exposure at this point, if not dead already. Trick was changed, but if he but if he meant you harm, he would have done something already. Right? Right? After a few minutes, you pull from your thoughts by familiar noise of the tea kettle. Trick walks in a moment later, carrying teacups, sprouting wilt ghost and candles on them. He sets them down on the coffee table in front of the couch before taking a seat next to you, just on the line of being too close. Trick as you're reading your mind, as if reading your mind, looks over at you and asks, "So are you happy to be going home tomorrow? I can't see the storm lasting for a day." Oh, you can. Yes, but I'll miss you. And I also want to thank you again for all you've done to help me out. Trick looks at you, completely stunned for a few long moments before a huge grin spreads across his face. "Yeah, you mean it? I'm holding you on. I'm holding you to that earlier offer to come back to visit." The two of you fall into a comfortable silence, though when you glance at Trick again, he's staring at the fireplace with an unreadable expression on his face. He was conflicted and maybe a little sad too. It was obvious he wasn't exactly overjoyed at the thought of you leaving the next day. He did feel a little guilty. He lived out here in the woods all by himself, and clearly enjoyed your company a lot. Too much, probably. But still, you could always come back. You could always come back and visit. His charm was beginning to get to you the more time you spent with him, and definitely wouldn't be opposed to seeing where you're at. You definitely wouldn't be opposed to seeing where your relationship ended up in the future. The weirder aspect of him still weighs on you, but maybe that was something you grow used to in time. You reach out to take the teacup from the table and drink a few sips. The tea's warm and comforting, almost immediately putting you at ease. Trick takes his cup to do the same. You both sit in this comfortable silence for a while, simply enjoying the peace and the fireplace crackling in front of you. After a while, you feel a familiar sense of exhaustion from the previous night. Something's in that tea. It was difficult to even keep your eyes open, especially with your relaxed position on the couch. Trick takes a notice and gives you a soft nudge. "Sleepy? It's late enough. Don't force yourself to try and stay up. Come on, let's get you to bed," he says gently, standing up and offering a hand to help you to your feet. A small noise of agreement leaves you as you find yourself too tired to argue with him. It gives your hand a soft squeeze as you accept his help as he walks you out of the living room and to the guest room. Trick pulls back the blankets for you and lights a candle on the table as you tidily haul yourself to bed. "Sweet dreams, Pumpkin. I'll see you in the morning." He smiles at you one final time before closing the door, and you can faintly hear his footsteps as he walks away. You don't even realize you've fallen asleep until you're barely blinking your eyes open, groggily surveying your surroundings. A quick glance on the window shows that it's still dark outside, and judging by the still burning candle on the table, you haven't been asleep all that long. As much as you want to fall back asleep, the unbearable dryness in your mouth demands you drown down a glass of water first. You carefully climb out of bed to your feet, still feeling fairly groggy and out of it from your exhaustion. Bracing your hand on the wall, you move down the now dark hallway into the kitchen. Thankfully, it looks like Trick did the dishes from your dinner, so you grab your glass from earlier, where it still sits on the counter. You really don't feel right rummaging around his cabinets. You fill the glass in the sink and take a few large gulps of water before setting it out on the counter with a relieved sigh. Much better. As you move your head back to your room, however, you hear a noise that causes you to pause. A loud clicking noise seems to be coming from the living room. The orange glow from the fireplace was gone, but I could still make out some faint light seeping into the hallway. Was Trick still awake? Your curiosity gets better of you as you quietly pad over the entryway to the living room and peek around the corner. You spot Trick sitting on the couch, simply inspecting his arm for some reason. Upon closer look, you see something off, however. He is the doll. He is a mannequin. Ball joints? He's a mannequin. With his gloves off and sleeves rolled up, you could clearly see his fingers, wrists, and elbows. Before you could question him, Trick's head quickly turns to your direction, and you make eye contact. Trick's eyes go wide, and he quickly shoves down the sleeves of his shirt and tucks his hands on his sides, and out of your view. I told you he was a doll. It's basically Pinocchio. All jokes aside, he just cannot. He could probably just tell lies though. He flashes you a smile, but you could tell how strained it looks. Pumpkin, what are you doing out of bed, huh? You should be fast asleep right now. Oh, I got up to get some water. Reply, a will frown, a will thrown off by his response. I'm going back now. You mutter a quick good night before turning and dashing off back into the hallway to the guest room where you shut the door behind you. That was weird. You never seen prosthetics like that before, and both arms too, no less. Trick's reaction to you seeing that was incredibly odd as well. It's not prosthetics. Guarantee it. 100% he was the doll. You climb back into the bed and stare up at the ceiling, suddenly feeling wide awake. Well, if he really wanted to talk about it with you, he would tell you tomorrow, so there was no point dwelling on it. Eventually, he managed to fall back asleep into a dreamless slumber. The next morning, he had nearly forgotten about the odd events from last night. Sunlight was streaming gently through the window and into the room, painting everything in a soft, infernal glow. It looks like the storm is finally over. At the very least, Trick can give you directions back into town, even if the power still happens to be out. He opened the door to the room and shuffled down the hallway to find Trick. Though, when you spot him sitting in the same spot on the couch from last night, your memories come flooding back as you stiffly glance down at his arms. His gloves and sleeves were back in place, but could vividly picture the ball joints under the fabric. Trick knows your gaze and flashes you his usual smirk, though it seems slightly forced. Staring isn't polite, you know. As much as you want to ask him about what you saw, it definitely isn't polite to ask about something like that, especially since he puts it in so much effort into keeping them hidden. I actually did that once, but I was like, I think 3, when I did that. So, too young to know any better. You're right. I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable last night. I don't pry. I won't pry. Trick in turn gives you a confused look, his brows furrowing. Uncomfortable about what? Now it was your turn to look confused. About accidentally seeing your arms, your prosthetics? Something flashes across Trick's expression for a moment, and you swear you could see the corner of his lips, quirk in amusement. But as soon as it left, and he came back. He was back into looking confused, now with added bit of confusion, bit of concern. What are you talking about? I don't have I don't have prosthetics. He's a doll, that's why. He makes a show of holding up above his hands and wiggling his fingers, still covering his gloves. Still covered by his gloves. Trick, you don't need to be embarrassed or anything. I don't have an issue or anything like that. I saw last night. I saw last night. Last night, before he went to bed, when you were having tea. He tilts his head in an added show of confusion. A small part of your brain can't help but think he's faking it. No, when I got up to get water, remember? You even spoke to me. Trick raises eyebrows, his expression now turning slightly skeptical as he regards you. Pumpkin, I never saw you last night. I went to bed right after you did. So even if you did get up, I was in my room. You're gaslighting us because I know I saw you. And you're a doll. Are you sure you didn't just have a really weird and realistic dream? The look on his face is almost like he's pitying you now, and you feel a small amount of annoyance flaring up in response. Was he seriously trying to gaslight you right now? Or maybe he did just have a really realistic dream. In any case, it wasn't worth it to argue over, even if Trick was lying. It was his business, and if he wanted to keep it secret from you, so be it. A sigh escapes you, and you meet his eyes again. I guess it was a weird dream. Sorry again. Something like a smug satisfaction passes over Trick's expression like a second. Expressions for a second. No worries, it happens. Now, want me to cook you something for breakfast? Some breakfast? Actually, before that, I want to ask you: is the power back on yet? I see the storm finally stopped. Trick frowns and shakes his head in response. Nope, sorry, like I said, I live way out of the middle of nowhere. It's probably be a while before the power company can fix it. Well, can you at least give me directions back into town? I could just walk. All the way back to town? That's a big hike, Pumpkin. Why don't you just stay a bit longer? Wait for the power. I really want to get home. I can't pose on you like that more than I already have. I can't waste time here anymore. I have things I need to get back to. I can't impose on you more than I already have. Trick waves you off immediately. Please, you're farthest thing from imposing on me. I've loved having you stay. He sighs. Can I at least make you stay for breakfast before you go? Please. The near desperate tone in his voice catches you off guard, and you find yourself agreeing without even thinking about it. Sure, I'll like that. Can you stop looking at me like a kick puppy now? We've already agreed that this isn't going to be the last we see of each other. Shrek looks away, his arms crossed over his chest. I know. He mumbles, nearly pouting. I didn't think I could like anyone this much sense. He trails off, but you have a feeling he's going to mention his childhood friend again. Point is, I like you a lot. And I know that's probably incredibly creepy coming from a random guy he just met 2 days ago. but it's how I feel. Now come sit down while I make breakfast so we could stop talking about emotions. I'm bad at them. After breakfast, Trick brought your original clothes for you to wear. He had gone back to the guest room to change, and were now sitting on the edge of the bed for a moment as you collected your thoughts. You couldn't shake the strange sense of unease you felt since last night. It felt like you were missing something, like you didn't have enough puzzle pieces to see the bigger picture. With a small sigh, you stand up off the bed and start to walk out of the room. Your feet catches on something sticking out under the bed, however. A small notebook goes skidding across the wooden floor. Curiosity gets the better of you, and you pick it up and examine the cover. It's a simple notebook with a cute, stylized howling pattern. Trick's journal, maybe? Though it didn't make sense for it to be in the guest room instead of his own bedroom. You flip open to the random page and begin reading. The handwriting is rough, as if the author is still young and doesn't have a good grasp of their handwriting yet. Or there's me. Hand tremors do not help. Me and Trick went to the park today to play. We jumped in the leaf piles, collected the acorns, and even had a picnic with Mommy. Tonight, Mommy says we can have a sleepover in the living room and watch movies and eat popcorn. So this must be the journal of Chick's childhood friend. That makes more sense. You reach the next page and smile sadly to yourself. They did seem really close, based on their injuries, poor Trick. However, something in the next sentence caught your eye that made you freeze. I love Trick so much. I'm really thankful that Grandma made him for me. I have a best friend, and I could bring him with me wherever now. Bingo, he's the doll. Maybe it made him for me. This must be referring to the little flush doll that resembles Trick in the photo. But the entries you read in the journal gave you no mention to the actual Trick. Because the actual Trick is the doll. You skim a few more entries, and it becomes more and more apparent that the only Trick that exists is in fact the child's doll. It's basically Pinocchio. It's basically like Pinocchio, just cuter. Your mind immediately wanders back to all the odd occurrences you noticed with Trick. You never see him eat anything besides that slice of pumpkin pie, which didn't even make him flinch despite it being burning hot. He always woke up before you and gone to bed after you, so you never see him sleep or even look remotely tired for that matter. Speaking of, have you ever seen him blink, breathe? All of that combined with the ball joints you supposedly dreamed. Stop! This was getting ridiculous. No, it isn't. I'm all for dating Pinocchio. You were going to let your mind run with the idea that Trick was some kind of sentient doll monster thing. I wouldn't call him a monster. I would call him Pinocchio to become a real boy. I still need to become a little more real boy, but he was a perfectly normal human, just with some odd tendencies. You take a breath to calm your nerves before closing the journal and tucking it back under the bed. When you walk back into the hall, Trick is standing by the front door with an unreadable expression on his face. His boots are tapping softly against the floor as his hand is raised to his mouth as if he in deep thought. When he noticed you, however, his plasters on a smile. You're leaving now, then? You nod in reply and walk over to where he's standing. It takes all of your willpower not to stare at his chest to see if it's rising and falling from his breathing. Refuse to let yourself buy into the delusions like that. But I wrote down my number for you. Text me sometime and we can meet up again. You slip him a small piece of paper, which he looks over for a moment before tucking it in his pocket. For some reason, though, he almost looks disappointed. Are you sure there's no way I could convince you to stay until the power's back on, and you could charge your phone to call someone? I really need to get home. I have work and people who will be worried about me. You sprang gently to him, but he sighs in response. I would stay. I'm Zora with directions, so like Zora. I get it. He replies as he opens up the front door for you to step in outside. And steps aside. Bye, Trick. It was nice meeting you, and thank you again for all your help early. You say Siri, giving him a warm smile as you go walk past him. Before you made it out the door, however, you feel a hand close around your waist. Why in rate? Mildly surprised, he used your name for once. You turned to face him questioningly. It really isn't safe for you to walk all the way back. It might start storming again. Or you could run into someone dangerous. Like another Yandere that's probably your neighbor? He says quickly. His tone began to sound desperate. I'll be fine. Thank you for your concern. I'll be fine. Thank you for the concern. But I could handle myself, I promise. You try to pull your wrist free, but Trick's grip is like a vice, totally unmoving. Please, don't leave me. I promise I'll make you happy. You're starting to freak me out a bit here. Seriously, let go. You say in a more firm tone, your eyes narrowing, his repeating, desperate expression. When he doesn't budge, you give him a warm yank of your arm. Trick clearly doesn't expect you to use your full strength, and the motion sends him tumbling forward towards you. A soft curse escapes you as you feel him knock against your painfully, his body hard, unnaturally so. You hear something fall and hit the wooden floor with a loud clattering noise. What you see is the floor. What you see on the floor doesn't quite register for a few moments, as your mind is rejecting it. Trick's head is now on the floor, just his head. Horror grips you suddenly as you force yourself to look up at him. And yep, he's a doll. His body is standing in front of you. His hands still gripping your waist, except for where his head should be. His neck simply ends in his rounded off post. Well, that's unfortunate. You hear him sigh on the floor, and when you look back down at his head, he has an annoyed expression on his face. Before you can come to terms with what you're seeing, Trick's hand releases your wrist. His body bends over and grabs his head before setting it back into place with a small click. And there, I was really hoping the situation could have been avoided. His tone indicates that the fact his head just came off was nothing more than a minor inconvenience. Made to him. While you're still frozen in shock and fear, Trix brushes past you to close the front door. Oh, we're not leaving. The sound of the lock clicking in place is what breaks you from your trance. You're suddenly hit with the realization that all the puzzle pieces have finally came together about Trick. All his strangeness makes complete sense, as opposed to as impossible as the realization is. You're a doll. You're that doll from the photo. Trick looks at you with a flat expression of disappointment. Ah, so you did see after all. It really isn't polite to snoop, Pumpkin. Well, props to you putting the pieces together quickly. I knew you were clever. It's like, uh, for me, I'm way clever because I saw the photo and I'm like, I knew your doll. It gives you a smirk. How are you? Trail off, not even beginning to know how to comprehend what you're seeing in front of you. Alive? How I went from a stupid little plush toy into this. Yeah, especially when you were a flush toy. Now you are basically uh, have like yeah, ball joints like a transformer. He pauses for a dramatic effect before exclaiming, "I don't know. Isn't that what the fun? Isn't that a fun answer? I'm just as much as in dark as you are." His expression suddenly sobers, and he reaches out to grab your arm again. Question and answer time is over for now, though. Come on. He gives your arm a tug and trying to pull you down the hallway after him. Let him pull you along. Trick smiles smugly at your lack of resistance. That's a good girl. I knew you didn't really want to leave me. Right this way, Pumpkin. Trick pulls you over to the door you haven't seen before, tucked away at the end of the hall. He pulls out a set of keys out of his pocket and unlocks it. The door swings open to reveal a set of old wooden stairs leading down into the complete darkness. You are not locking me in the frickin' basement. Trick rolls his eyes and tugs you closer towards the door. I am, temporarily at least. I need to figure out what to do with you. He mutters the last bit under his breath, suddenly thinking to himself. His words send a chill through you as the gravity of your situation sinks in. Are you going to do that to me? Trick's, Trick pauses and looks over at you with a surprised expression before he suddenly bursts into laughter. Of course not. What do you think that? What you think? What you think that's just because you know I am? You're going to die? He tilts his head, his voice taking on a mocking and smug tone. Please, like anyone would believe you. Then why are you going to lock me up? You glare at him, irritation beginning to outweigh your fear. So you won't leave me. Didn't I really want to say that? Well, I thought it was obvious anyways. Don't worry, I'll make sure you learn to love it here with me. I'll make sure you love me. He smiles brightly at you, as if it was all completely normal and logical. We'll play and have fun together. He tilts his head to the side with a sharp crack and a wide grin on his face. He reaches out and gently skims his fingertips across your cheek. The tender gesture, completely at odds with his words. And then you never want to leave. A shudder of terror shoots down your spine as words, and you quickly make a break for it, intending to push past him and back down the hall. Before you can make it very far, though, his hand closes around you, your wrist, and you jerk to stop. Trick spins you around and pulls you against himself, his arm moving to wrap around your waist to keep you trapped in his arms. Ah. Where do you think you're going? You're staying right here with me, Pumpkin. He hums happily to himself and squeezes you before releasing you from his arms. Though he keeps you close in case you try to pull again. I don't understand. You seemed willing to let me walk out of the front door 10 minutes ago. Trick shrugs nonchalantly in response. I changed my mind. I really did try to tell myself that you would come back. I could still win you over slowly. But I just couldn't take that risk. What if you didn't keep your promise? What if you found someone else? So I'd much rather have the entire process all under my control. Why are you so obsessed with me? I don't. You suddenly go quiet as a thought draws on you. Your childhood best friend. You said reminded you of her, your old owner. Trick's expression darkens and he smirks at you bitterly. You are clever. Well, I'm sure you put most of the pieces together then, so you must understand my motivations. I'm not being abandoned a second time, not by her, not by you. Am I her? I have a second chance here. I don't plan on wasting it. Things could go back to how they used to be. He suddenly tugs at your arm, dragging you over to the top of the basement stairs. Come on, I promise it's temporary. Temporary. Believe it or not, but I do want to be happy. You to be happy here, Pumpkin. I want you to be happy with me. By walking me up and trying to force me to love you. I don't care how long it takes. I have nothing but time on my hands. Now, seriously, you can either calm down willingly, or I can give you more sedatives. More, oh, the tea. You pause, a mixture of horror and anger rising in you. More? Trick snickers and shoots you a smug, condescending look. What do you think the tea made you? Why do you think the tea made you sleepy? Kind of figured it. There's something in it. He sighed, a look of vexed disappointment on his face again. But clearly, that second dose wasn't strong enough. You just had to wake up and walk in on me doing maintenance on my joints. You're too stunned to protest as he gives you a small push, causing you to tumble and find your footing in the staircase. Before you can react, the basement door slams shut in your face, plunging the stairwell into darkness. A moment later, you hear a lock click in from the outside, as well as Trick's muffled voice. I'll be back later, Pumpkin. I won't leave you down here, I promise. The sun's sincerity and what almost sounds like Vermilion's tone catches you off guard. As much as you want to scream and curse at him through the door, you know it won't solve anything right now. There was a faint light coming from somewhere in the basement, allowing you to see the steps after your eyes adjust a bit. You carefully make your way down the steps, gripping the handrails tightly. The basement is about what you expected, a simple, outdated storage room. The light was coming from a small window near the ceiling, though with how much dirt caked the glass, the light was dim. You walk around the room for a bit, looking for anything that could potentially break down the door, or be used as a weapon if need be. A pipe. Sadly, there wasn't much down here besides boxes and other mischievous junk. What does catch your eye, however, is a breaker box on the wall. The metal door is open, allowing you to see something that makes your blood boil with anger all over again. The master switch is flipped to the off position. That son of a... That butthole was lying the entire time about the power being out. He must have come down here at some point and flipped the breaker to allow him to keep using the power as an excuse to keep you here. And keep you there. Probably when he, um, probably in the first night. Cursing on your breath, he flipped the switch and magically the basement flooded in light. It was dim and also rather creepy, but at least you could see a lot better now. You give the room a one more fertile sleep, but you still don't find anything you could use to break out, or break a trick. Oh no, maybe this. Grab the pipe. Um, Pick up barrel. He felt like hitting his stupid plastic butt with something heavy right now. Barrel? Lots of emotions swirl inside you, creating a tumultuous mess of negativity. You're livid at him, yes, but a large part of you also couldn't help but feel hurt and betrayed. His entire personality was just that, a careful crafted persona to make you like him, because you reminded him of his own old owner. I mean, plot twist, I was the old owner, or one of my parents was. He had really been looking forward to establishing a better relationship with him, going out together to see where things went. He felt sick. He needed to find a way out of here. When you hear a knock on the door to the basement, it feels to you like several hours have passed. How are you doing? You hear his voice call out call out to you through the door. You make your way up the top of the steps so you can reply directly to him from the other side of the wood. Just great. I love being trapped in a dark, creepy basement by psychopathic, sentient dolls. You hiss the words out, venom dripping from each other. Trick the butthole laughs from their side. Also, I'm glad you're mad at me. I don't know how I would have handled it if you had been crying sobbing mess. He can't see it, obviously, but you give the door the finger. Really though, I'm sorry. I don't have a better place to put you right now. Yes, because your apology means so much to me. Are you also sorry for lying to me? Doing that to me? Kidnapping me? Your fist bangs on the door as you shout the last few words. Trip doesn't reply for a few moments, as if he's collecting his thoughts. When he does respond, his voice is soft and vulnerable. I'm not. No, I need you here. I know you don't understand, but I can't let you go. Suddenly, the vulnerable tone in his voice is gone, once again replaced by a smug one of self-satisfaction. Certainly, it is your best interest. It's in your best interest to learn to like it here. See you in a bit. Before you reply, you hear his footsteps walk away from the door. Several curses leave your mouth as you bang the door over and over again, demanding he come back and let you out. By the time you're exhausted from trying to beat down the door with an old PPC pipe you found, you hear Trick return. No, I'll be waiting with the pipe while I'm open the door. Just smack him with it. God, you really have a lot of energy, don't you? That was like a solid half an hour of cursing me out. I'm impressed, really. I could do more cursing. His smug voice comes from the other side of the door. You're too worn out to give him the full force of your rage, so you just mutter a simple butthole. I'll leave it at that. Well, I flipped the door again. You don't even need to see Trick's face to know he's grinning. It's honestly kind of attractive seeing you in you so full of fire, even if it's directed at me. I refuse to feed into your sick, twisted fantasies. He snapped back, voice weak with exhaustion. And mine's on exhaustion. The asthma kicked in. Turk laughs, and you hear him lean against the door. You really are something, you know. You're in a hopeless, terrifying situation, and you think it's best course of action to swear at me and give me death threats while trying to break down the door. You're actually nothing at all like. He shows off, his voice going quiet. Like your best friend? You finish for him. Your voice is no longer carrying the former vim it had before. Trick is quiet for a moment. Quiet for a while. You almost think he walked away until you hear his back slide down the door until he's sitting against it. Just like you are from your side. It's terrifying how much you look like her. I mean, how long ago was this? He begins quietly. If I look exactly like him, and it's been a while, it's probably my mom. You almost didn't know how to react when you showed up in my doorstep. You looked like a drowned kitten. He snickers for a moment before his voice sobbers again. For a second, I thought you were her, and then you opened your mouth. You could practically see the smirk on his face. So did you only take me in because I looked like her? He asked, unable to keep the bare tone out of your voice. Nah, I wouldn't have left you out. I wouldn't have left you out in the storm even if you didn't look like. You didn't look alike. I may not have a physical heart, but I'm not heartless. Says the one who lied to me. Did that to me. Kidnapped me. People with hearts don't do that. Well, it's in our Yandere list, and some of them are actually human. We could, say that's not entirely true. Trick scoffs from their side of the door. Are you going to keep bringing all that up every time? And besides, I'm not a person. He's quiet again for a while before he continues. But no, I wouldn't have left you in the storm. I wouldn't let you call in someone. I would have let you call someone to come get you. Lucky me. So because I shared a god darn face with someone, I get kidnapped. I'm so glad to hear that you're only a selective monster. You snap angry, and with that, both of you fall into a tense silence for a few minutes. A thought that has been weighing on you since Trick's big reveal causes you to speak up again. What happened to your friend, the kid you had you? Did she? He show off, unwilling to say the word in fear of what response might be. What do you think I Peter? Because YouTube. I may have complicated feelings, but I'm not a monster. You hear Trick's sigh and the sound of his head thunk against the door as he leans back against it. A small wave of relief washes over you in his answer. Given everything you know about the situation, you can't be entirely surprised if Trick had snapped and... Anyways, and you really don't know how you turned into what you really are. You are now. You don't know how what turned you into what you are now. Trick seems like he's in a talking mood right now, and a part of you wonders if you could potentially talk him into letting you out. Best to find out all you can about him, anyways. No, one day I just woke up. I wasn't that well-fleshed doll her grandma sewed for her. I was this. I was angry because you feel like she abandoned you. She did abandon me. That little analogy I used yesterday about having a favorite toy, I was that favorite toy. She took me with her everywhere. We were always together. No hard toy of hers could compare to me. She loved Halloween. It was her favorite holiday. I was a gift to her from her grandmother, along with a basket full of treats. It's why I love the holiday so much, too. It rubbed off on me. He sounds almost wistful as he talks, until his voice turns bitter and resentful again. And then she grew up, decided she was too old for toys. She didn't even give me the courtesy of putting me on a shelf or anything. No, she threw me in a box with the rest of her old toys and locked me away in the basement to be forgotten. Just like Woody, okay, Andy did, right? Did Andy do that? I remember, I need to rewatch Toy Story 3 because I remember the scene where they tried to get rid of them and they were all in the box. I was down there for over a decade. He laughed bitterly. You swear you could hear his breath catch for a moment, as if he's almost in tears. He swallowed and carefully think over what to say before replying. Were you sent as a doll too? As plush doll too? Not in the way you're assuming. I can remember vague feelings and emotions, but I wouldn't call it a sentence. So not like Toy Story. Darn! You almost don't want to ask the next question, but I can't live without knowing the answer. What did you do when you woke up? I confronted her. I went right up to her room and demanded to know why she left me down there all alone for all those years. He laughed bitterly again. You can imagine how well that went. Screaming and calling the police. She screamed in terror. Her father rushed in. I grabbed a pair of scissors off the desk and informed him that it was between me and my best friend. He goes quiet for a minute or so, but you couldn't bring yourself to say anything in reply. Then he speaks up again. His voice is hollow and motionless. The whole family packed up in a hurry and never came back. I've been here ever since. Oh, they thought it was haunted. Basically, it's like a haunted house. Stupid thinking that maybe one day she would come back and we could make up. God, you don't even know how to begin to reply to that. Plot twist that was after our mom. On one hand, what he did was horrible and Halloween, and frankly terrifying. But on the other hand, he wasn't a person. He might look like an adult, but he may as well be a toddler. When it comes to emotional capacity, and you can see that clearly now. Someone with no prior association and concept of emotion suddenly wakes up and is hit with years of resentment and betrayal all at once. It's not right, but you get it. A normal person in the same situation might even react in a similar manner. And then I show up with her face. And then you show up with her face. It confirms a bitter and resentful tone back in his voice. Trick, do you actually want me? Or do you want the idea of your best friend back? Trick laughs, but there's no humor in it. Both. I know you're not her. I do. I know you'll never be her. He said softly, so quiet you could barely hear it through the door. But I have this aching, empty hole in my chest that she created, and nothing has been able to fill it. I was so sure that this was the way to do it. I could make you love me. I could have someone to play with again. I wouldn't be alone anymore. A positive trick is crime. Now, giving the way his voice breaks, if dolls can cry. I know everything I've done to you is horrible. You have every reason to hate me. But I kept telling myself that was necessary for the big picture. You would forgive me one day if I could just. He trails off again, and you can hear a barely audible sob from the other side of the door. Trick goes quiet after that. You take a moment to collect your thoughts before you reply to him. It's impossible for you not to feel some degree of empathy for him, given everything you just heard. God, that was twisted. He manipulated you, lied to you, and kidnapped you, and somehow you still felt for him. I mean, what are we all gonna do? We tracked Yandere's, and given the fact that he's also a living doll with zero emotional maturity and understanding of the concept of mortality, you sigh heavily to yourself. This could have turned out much, much worse. You could have given him some credit for that, at least. When you speak up again, your voice is stern, and you still hold no sympathy. Trying to manipulate someone into loving you, locking them away, and trying to force them to care about you. Even if it works, it wouldn't be real. That's not how genuine love works. Happens. You sigh and run your fingers through your hair as you try to figure out what to say. I can't even begin to imagine how hard things have been for you, and I'm sorry for all you've gone through, but I'm never going to be able to fill that void for you. That isn't how it works. There's no magical fix. You state bluntly, but not unkindly. Everyone has things they wish that could change in the past. Everyone deals with grief at some point in their lives. Some more than others, and none of it is fair. But focusing on the past and refusing to look forward is never going to help. You're obsessed with finding a present for her, but things won't ever be exactly the same. It's hard to accept, I know, but it's just how life is, how being a person is. You say earnestly, trying your hardest to convey your feelings to him. Fill yourself with new memories, ones that make you happy and bring you joy. And one day you look back and your past grief will still hurt, yes, but won't be anything in comparison of what you feel now. What you've been feeling for far too long now. Truth doesn't reply for a long time. You're worried that maybe your words had the wrong effect on him. You pull out your thoughts suddenly by the sound of the lock clicking. Quickly stand up and take a step back from the door as it opens. The bright light of the hallway blinds you momentarily, making you squint. When your vision clears, you see Trick standing to the side, his orange eyes downcast to the floor, an unmistakable expression of guilt in his face. You're right, everything you said is right. I'm sorry. I know it isn't right for me to keep you here. That isn't how a person makes someone love them. He murmurs, still refusing to meet your gaze. This isn't how you're supposed to treat someone you care about, locking them in basement, especially when I know firsthand how horrible that is. When he finally does lift his gaze to meet yours, he looks miserable. His eyes are also filled with remorse. I'm so sorry, Ryan. He repeats, the add use of your name instead of his pet name, catching you off guard for a moment. I don't forgive you. Trick winces at your words, but to his credit, he holds your gaze and simply accepts them. But I will be willing to help you make it up for this until the day when I do forgive you. Trick's jaw drops and he stares at you with eyes so wide you almost laugh if it's not for the situation. You're not you're not going to leave me? No, I'm not going to leave. However, I'm not against occasionally meeting up in very, very public places. Trick glimpses, but quickly nods in agreement. I get it. Someone has to teach the Senate doll how to be human. After all, I feel oddly responsible to do that. A small grin breaks out of Trick's face, and he quickly moves to cover it with his hand. The action makes you smile too. Thank you for coming to your senses. And hey, as far as sentient dolls go, you grin at him. Chucky's better. The ones in movies tend to be far worse. Yeah, like Chucky, Megan. Me saying that, however, is in no way excuse for your behavior, Annabelle. Well, Annabelle was possessed by a demon, right? Now, out of the way so I can finally go home. I'm positive someone has filed a missing persons report for me at this point, and I really don't feel like spraying living dolls to the police if they show up here. Trick obediently steps out of your way, raising his hands in slender. He uncharismatically silent as he trails after you to the front door. You notice he keeps a healthy distance between the two of you. He reminds you of some timid animal that doesn't want to get too close, the complete opposite of the 40 borderline clingy version of him yesterday. You open the front door before turning back to look at him again. You're aware that everything you did to me was wrong. I condemn none of it. I should leave and never come back. But thank you for saving me from the storm, and for the pumpkin pie. I enjoyed a lot of my time with you, and I'd like to think it wasn't all just manipulation on your part. Trick looks stunned for a second before he can't hold back a surprised laugh. You're welcome, Ryan. I'll make you proud of me. I promise. I don't care how long it takes. I'll make you up for all this. Also, it was only 20% manipulation. Just 20. That's a lot. That's a lot still. His femoral smirk is back as he crosses his arms and leans against the doorway. Wolf is good. You reach out and give his arm a small smack before he can react. You're hugging him. Trick freezes for a moment in shock before you feel him hesitantly return your hug, as if he's afraid to touch you. Though he relaxes once more, and once for he feels you squeeze him and hugs you back in earnest. All right, get out of here, pumpkin. I have an online therapy class I need to sign up for. He grins and gives you a gentle push towards the porch steps. Hilarious. It's like, okay, is it better health because just go to actual therapy? You roll your eyes at him, though part of you wonders how much of that statement was actually a joke, because I heard it's basically scammy. I'll see you, Trick. You give him a little wave before turning to leave. Bye, Wyan. He winks playfully at you. It's been a treat. Months later. Pumpkin, I don't want to. This feels wrong. Trick protest and whine audible in his voice. You're the one cute howling dates. Reply with an unamused look at the scene before you. It had been your idea to carve pumpkins with him, but as soon as it came to even touching the gourd with a knife, he had retort to this. Besides, you have carved pumpkins on your front porch right now. Those were before I met you. He frowned, throwing the knife in his hand with such dexterity. It honestly freaks you out a bit. To think that you were at a point in your relationship where you trusted Trick with a knife of all things. Knowing Yandere's, that's the thing that the one thing you do not trust Yandere with. At his credit, he spent the last few months doing nothing but making up for his past mistakes. He had come incredibly far in such a short amount of time. You couldn't help but be impressed. Trick took it upon himself to study human psychology and emotions, especially when it comes to regarding his own and dealing with his past grief. Your relationship had started slow, with the two of you meeting up once a week for for public outings, then eventually graduated to him visiting you at your house and even staying the night. But this time, such a long time has passed that you felt comfortable enough to truly begin a romantic relationship with him. Which brought you back to what you are currently dealing with. Give me that. I'll do it for you. You reach out for the pumpkin in front of him. He immediately snatches it back and holds it protectively. Ah. Back off. I'll just draw a face on it with markers or something. Oh God, he's basically pouting. This man watched you in the basement all those months ago, and now look at him. He's adorable, Yandere. You sigh and raise your hands in surrender. Trick relaxes a bit and stands up from the table. I'm making tea. Want some? Is that a threat? It's like, yes. Trick stares at you before bursting into laughter. I think if I tried to do that to your tea again, you'd fight off on pure spite alone. Yes. You're down right. Yes, I want some. By the way, please and thank you. Trick grins and leans down to brush a kiss against your cheek before moving to get started on the tea. When the tea is done and you both have some steaming cups in front of you, you give Trick a curious look. How do you eat? I never asked. Like the tea and pumpkin pie we made together. Trick glimpses and glances away from you. Honestly, I'm hollow inside, you know that? So if I do eat something, it kind of just sits in my torso cavity until I wash out. It's gross, I know. But that's why I shower right after eating something. I usually don't bother with food, but sweets, they're too hard to resist. That's simultaneously the grossest thing I've ever heard, but also kind of cool. Does that mean your head is hollow, too? Because that explains a lot. We're just being savage to him. You smirk and reach over to gently knock against his head until you swatch your hand away with a frown. Funny. The two of you sit in comfortable silence as you drink your tea and finish up your respective pumpkins. Trick did indeed draw a face on his with a marker, true to his word. After he excuses himself to the bathroom, presumably to wash the tea out. Gross. When he walks back into the room, he nudges your arm. Grab your jack-o'-lantern so we could put it on the porch. You follow him outside after grabbing a candle and lighter as well, and soon enough, your jack-o'-lantern was sitting proudly up all the way up. Yours turned out really nice. Like you designed. I like the design you went with. Thanks. Yours is cute too. No one says they have to be carved. Trick frowns. Don't patronize me. Now I believe I'm promised a Halloween-themed movie night. Okay, what movies are we gonna watch? Because I just scream. He reaches over to take your hand and laces his fingers, or in Nightmare Before Christmas. He reaches over to take your hand and laces his fingers with yours, not bothering to wait for a reply as he practically drags you back inside. Several hours later, you and Trick are curled up comfortably on the couch in front of the fireplace. He has his arm wrapped around you with your body tucked up against his side. His free hand is absent-mindedly running through your hair and massaging your scalp. Trick isn't the most comfortable person to cuddle with, given the material of his body, but you don't mind. The credits roll for the last movie of the two of you had put on, and a small yawn escapes you. You want to crash here or head back home? It's getting late. I'll spend a night. No friends to walk me here. I'll stay if I sleep in your bed this time. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Trick's eyes go wide, and even though it doesn't make sense given his physiology, you swear you see him blush. You're not being serious. I totally am. Wipe that smug look off your face, you brat. Trick moves his arms around you in order to stretch his joints, clicking together quietly under his clothes. His arm returns to its previous position, and he knows he's looking at you with a serious expression. What? Nothing. I'm glad you're here. You're here, Wyan. Willing even. He had just to tease him and keep things from getting too heavy. Trick gives you a deadpan look. I'm trying to be sincere here. You're messing with me. Despite his words, you can make out the tiniest hint of grin he's trying to suppress. Shut up and let me be sappy. You make the motion of zipping your lips. He rolls his eyes before continuing. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. Thank you, really, for giving me a chance and sticking with me all this time, even if I didn't deserve it. He says in a much softer tone, his orange eyes warm and loving. Instead of replying with words, he reached up to tilt his head towards you and softly press your lips into his. Trick pulls you closer to him and kisses you back, wanting you to feel all his affection and adoration for you in it. He sighs after you both pull away and rest his forehead against yours. My sweet little pumpkin. He coos softly, and a hand comes up to caress your cheek. I don't even want to let you go. You both pause. In a completely normal, healthy way. Himins give you a lopsided grin. Totally, and Yandere normal. Anyways, assume that applies from now on. Expression softens again. Aww. I mean it. Though thank you for staying with me. Thank you for making me feel human. And that was Trick and Treat. If you like my content, please subscribe, like the video, help out, comment down below. I'll see you guys next time.